We are the nerds. We are the nerds of the apocalypse.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerds of the Apocalypse. I'm, of course, Stevie B. Alongside me today is
Trex.
Showtime.
I'm Jason Kazupi.
Yeah, we have a special guest, Jason.
Yay!
All right, so Jason is he's a local officer. He's on live PD.
I am.
And so our discussion topic today is we're just going to review Soda City Comic Con 2017, and you were a judge.
I was.
Yes.
It was first time being out there. It was nice. It was nice to get out there and see the all the kids and the costumes and everything. It was a great time.
It was a good time. So we'll do our little weekend Geek. What we doing? What we doing? What we been playing? What we been seeing? What we been spending money on? Almost getting killed by our wives.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess I'll start. We'll start with that.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, it's Force Friday 2. It's probably 3 weeks ago because how long it takes to get these things out. But it's Force Friday weekend right now. And I bought some Black Series figures. I bought a good many Black Series figures. There will probably be a Married to a Nerd on it. I'm sure. And it's been a good amount of money. But I love it, man. They released so many. Last Force Friday. Do you know what Force Friday is, Jason?
Go ahead.
So Force Friday is they did it for Force Awakens. They did it silently for Rogue One,
Okay.
but not really. This is the Last Jedi release is considered Force Friday 2. Like they market it as that.
Gotcha.
And it's when they push out all the toys and merchandise for the next Star Wars movie. So so like 2 years ago it was Force Awakens. You got all the figures, and this one it's all the Last Jedi toys.
Gotcha.
And I collect the. I don't know. Can you see? Yeah, they're a little bit behind you. I collect these big collector.
Oh wow.
6-inch Black Series figures.
Look at that.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
And they release them all the time. But for Force, my son's having a spaz in the background.
He walks now. I'm scared.
He does. He's out of control. So for Force Friday last year, they started renumbering for the Force Awakens. I was like, sweet, I'll start getting them all. Whew. It's been really rough. Hey, honey.
Oh, hey.
Hey. And so I've been getting in a lot of trouble. But on the first Force Friday, it was 5.
Yeah.
And they're $20 each. So it's not like I'm not spending a lot of money. But this year there was like no, it's not. No, did I say that wrong? It's not like I'm not spending a little bit amount of money. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And so this year there was like 8. And so and the store, of course I went, well, I'm going after work, so they all won't be there. I'll just get the ones that I can get. Well, I happened to go to a Target that still had all of them. So I got them all.
Well, you didn't have a choice.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, Jason gets me.
There's no choice in the matter.
He gets me.
Yeah.
Heather?
There isn't.
Jason
There's
understands
literally
me.
nothing this man could have done.
Nothing. Oh my gosh.
His hands were tied.
Until they restock next week.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. But
the
It's
wave
erroneous.
2.
That's
Erroneous
right.
in all accounts.
Heather, we don't deal with chances and ifs or maybes. They were there, and that was a fact.
And this is America. He needed it. He needed it now.
I got
deal in
their Ulta.
absolutes
I got
here.
their Ulta like right now.
There is a Force Awakens makeup set. So.
Yes.
I have a question
What?
regarding that.
What's up?
So, how much value actually, in terms of collecting, people always say, don't take it out of the package kind
Right.
of thing.
This is very topical.
Yeah, it's very funny you say that, because that was what I was going to bring up next. Well, first off, let me say this. I got really mad at Target because they didn't have any of their ads up. And it was like, spend $100, get a $25 gift card. And no one told me at the register, so I went back yesterday. And I had all the Black Series figures with me. I was like, I'd like a refund and a rerun, because I would like my gift cards, please. Because it was $100, you get a $25 gift card. It was $50, you get a $10 gift card. And I spent like $160. So I was like, I'd like these run up one transaction, these run up in another.
This number keeps going up.
Is it? It's 150, 160. I have $35
Because
gift
it was
cards
like
now.
120 and then it was 150.
Yeah, but then tax, you understand.
Yeah,
I'm in a bad position between these two.
I know. So because there's so many, I'm running out of shelf space. So now I was messaging the group, and I was because we have a group chat that we can discuss everything on.
Right.
And I was like, guys, I'm thinking about opening my Black Series, and like the reaction from him was like he was disgusted with me. He said I shouldn't do it because I would regret it later. Our
As
other
he does in life.
yes.
Lovely Ray.
Our other castmate Beth, she's not here today. She had a baby shower, but she said I should definitely do it because that's how her setup is at her house. So to answer your question about value, that's kind of what I'm gonna go by because some of these are constantly. It depends on how many are made. It depends on the value.
Right.
And some are very limited and they're worth more than the others. There's some that are mass produced. Like Rey and Luke just came out for The Last Jedi. Like Jedi garb Rey and Luke, trainer Luke. And it's the white one that we see in The Force Awakens. I'm almost positive that those will be the ones that get mass printed because they're the ones that everybody wants. It's the ones that are obscure. Like did you see Rogue One?
I did not see it yet. I actually am waiting to see it. I'm gonna watch it when my buddy gets back. He's a big Star Wars fan.
Right.
He's on vacation right now. We're gonna watch it on the old home theater setup when he gets back. We were just talking about it the other day actually.
But you've seen the trailer of the base.
Yeah, I know the gist of it.
Yeah, so there's the big group of people, and then there's like Jin and Cassian who are the main two.
Yeah.
And so those two are mass produced, and they're like really cheap now because they're like $8. So those are another. But all the other characters from the movie are way harder to get, and so they're worth way more money. So it's like that. So some of them are worth a lot, some of them aren't. Most of the store exclusives are worth a lot. My son is just having a spaz attack in front of the camera. There he is.
I'll tell you, for the Flash, he's not moving very fast.
No. So a lot of the store exclusives are worth a lot.
Yeah.
Because those get. But the problem that you have in the market is that you have a lot of resellers that will buy especially these Black Series figures because they know that they're made for the adult collectors, not really made for kids. And so
Ollie will disagree.
Is counterfeiting a big thing within that realm of collecting?
And on eBay, yes. There's a lot that people order on eBay that they think they get from China.
Yeah.
And it's like Star Walls, like it's like WALS on the box.
Pronounced the way.
Yeah.
You're expecting you're getting Thrawn and it's like some Gumby.
Well, no, it's funny though because the figures are actually not that bad. They're not like as good a quality, but they're pretty much the same. They come from the same mold.
Yeah.
Essentially. And so they're really not that bad. I've almost thought about getting a Darth Maul that way because Darth Maul is like the most sought after figure until it gets re-released. And that's another thing. Sometimes they're super rare and worth a lot, and then they'll get re-released, and then they're worth nothing because people can buy them again. So it just depends. So
merchandising.
Exactly.
Merchandising. Spaceballs to the toilet paper.
Ah, he gets it. He gets it.
So
I got the thermos.
So that's I've also been playing so much Final Fantasy 14, the MMO.
What's that?
You know what it is. You just haven't. You're supposed to join me, and you haven't yet.
I have been busy with work, sir, and it did not help that.
2 sunglasses. And 2 pairs of glasses.
Oh, I got real mad at him because I was watching the
random video. That was a 4-hour video, by the way.
So I'm cleaning. I'm trying to clean up last night, right? So I just put on random YouTube. I go to YouTube and like. One of his, because he's on another channel called Trex. He does a lot of stuff there. His DCO channel we were telling you about.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, he popped up in my like watch these videos. So I was like, oh, I'll put it on and push play and just let it run. And all of a sudden he's like opening up these boxes that he got from Daybreak Games, people that make DCO, and he's getting cool stuff. I was like, oh, look at that cool stuff he's getting. And all of a sudden he gets this amazing looking Superman baseball cap, and I'm like a Superman fanboy, and he goes, oh. My buddy Baxter's gonna be jealous of me for this. And I was like, this mother. and he just puts it on and he's like, and then he gets those glasses and he puts them on and immediately goes, I was like,
when you're wearing glasses and you're a black man, you have no choice. You have no choice. Everybody call me Stevie Wonder. Superstitious. That's all. So
your hairline needs to be like 8 inches further back.
I know. I don't want to dread that for anybody.
It's working on its way back.
Stop it. Young.
And so then after that, play stuff. It played a video It was like, why everybody is mass leaving DCUO, and I was like, oh, these are the things he gets mad about.
Yeah, the YouTube and even in everything genre related when it comes to games, when you have someone, I have a lot of videos that help people. I try to do guides, I try to do discussions, and couple hundred views. You have a video that's like, why DCO sucks, thousands of views, just nothing but feeding the negativity, and it's discouraging because it's like, well, maybe I really want to rickroll them and just go. And for me, because I've been playing DC for 6 years, I'm one of the most top influencers. I just want to make a video, just really rickroll them. Just go, DC sucks, and just see all the people come in. It's like, ha, fooled you. Now you're gonna talk about all the things I actually like about DC, and just trick them in.
There's one way to do it.
False advertising.
Yeah, that happens all the time on YouTube.
Well, I mean, negative videos and reaction videos always get the most YouTube views. I mean, all the time. That's across the board, no matter what it is.
We started doing some. We don't go crazy with reaction videos. We do like the major trailers of like any Marvel or DC movie or Star Wars movie. And did we talk about this last show? The comments and stuff.
I don't pay attention.
Yeah. Wow. And I noticed something is that generally we get nice comments on every video. If we get any comments, they're nice.
Yeah.
But when we do these reaction, man, the Marvel fan base isn't that bad, but the DC fan base are just so
savage,
nasty, and just they'll talk about everybody in the video. They'll bash them. They'll be like, he's ugly, he's fat, they all suck. This video's... And it's like, man, I've never had to... I don't like deleting comments, but if it's just like... You're like, one of them, like, my daughter was with us, and one of them was literally like, that everybody's a pedophile because there's a girl a little bit. And I'm like, seriously? So, like, I have to delete those comments because some of them are just, like, beyond toxic.
Yeah.
So, but we like doing them, so we
that's
keep
how,
going.
You know, it's naturally how the troll works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Marvel's not that bad, though. The Marvel videos are, there's generally not... They correct us in the Marvel videos if we say anything wrong at all.
If you don't watch those, but you do like Magic the Gathering and X-Wing miniatures,
yes.
DC would be the Magic the Gathering community, and Marvel would be the X-Wing miniatures community.
Yeah,
I can give you some background on that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go into my week.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So we've been playing X-Wing lately. It's the miniatures game up there.
Yeah.
And normally when I go to cons and we're supposed to do a tournament, Soda City, but ended up getting canceled now that people showed up. You'll go up against somebody in X-Wing, and they'll typically try and help you. They may donate cards to you.
Right.
They may give you advice on how to do your ship. Sometimes you get the one person who's a little bit cocky, but typically it's a very nice environment. It tends to be an older crowd.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering is not like that at all. It's completely a lot of younger people. I always get matched up with them, and I always get matched up with the kid who's like, I'm going to go ahead and assume that their parents bought them a whole bunch of cards. There's no reason a kid who's like 6 years old needs 4 hanger-back walkers, which is a very powerful card in that game, to play with. There's no way he made that money. But this one kid, he was like, everything I have can beat you. I just don't know what I want to use. And I was like, kid, I'm like twice your age.
That's the equivalent of online somebody saying I banged your mom.
Yeah.
It's basically Call of Duty players in real life.
And there was another one in line going to check out, going to get his prize. He was like, man, can you believe I beat that guy? It was so easy. Like, every time he put something out, I was just like, I can kill that. I can kill this. He was just like talking smack
like
about
little
him.
shrimp.
I was just like, ugh.
I never got partnered with anybody that had a problem, but I didn't.
We went to 5 tournaments like that, and every single time I was getting shit talked by a small child.
Yeah, they do Friday Night Magic at Firefly every week, and we for a while there we went like every other week, and I mean I got partnered next to some weird people because they just randomly select who you're gonna play against. But he
every single time it was a kid because you could look. He'd look over. Oh look, it's this nice Southern gentleman that Steve gets to fight. And then I look over. It's just like,
how do you do, sir?
This kid that's just like oozing darkness out of the background. It's just like what's happening.
And then we went to an X-Wing tournament, and even at the X-Wing tournament, he got put against kids twice.
Yeah.
And
sounds cutthroat.
And it's like The X-Wing tournament wasn't that bad though, and I gave him credit because the kid he was playing against an X-Wing wasn't playing correctly, and he said, "Hey, you should do this. You're not doing these. Don't forget to do this." And
Right.
then he was like, "Oh yeah, okay," and so he did it, and he lost. But if he hadn't have said, "Don't forget to do these things," he would have definitely won. But what made it a little bit bad was like his dad came over and was like, "Dad, I beat him," and it's like, "Oh, you didn't really beat me." Why?
Yeah.
Very humble. It was a very good test for the job we now know.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's nuts. I think the only card tournament I've ever been in, back in the day, there was a game called Showdown. It was a baseball card game.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah,
There's a couple
I did that back in the day. That was way long ago. That was pretty much the only thing similar experience I've shared.
Yeah.
That was, people got into that. That, I think, died out early 2000s. That 20-sided die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing I've been trying to get back into is D&D. But I did buy 2 new ships for X-Wing. I bought the Scourge from, it was a Star Wars Starfighter, I think. It was one of those where it's a bomber type. And I got to run it last night against his, what was it?
It's the Upsilon Clash. It's the Kylo Ren shuttle from Force Awakens.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's why I was trying to use that.
And I took out 2 of his 2 escorts, but at the end of it would have just been me only doing 1 to 2 points of damage against his ship.
And we
every
would have
round, and we've just been circling around each other like this. Let's just stop it.
And really, you're supposed to time X-Wing games in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's 60 minutes. So that most tournaments you go to, there's generally monthly tournaments at Ready to Play Games in West Columbia. I think, is it West Columbia?
Yeah.
That they do the X-Wing tournaments in the area, and it's generally 3 rounds and they're each an hour. So and it's just elimination.
Yeah.
And so we went way past an hour, and we were just like, all right, we're not just gonna chase each other around the board anymore.
It's like the old game of Monopoly.
Right. It's
It keeps going on and on.
And see, that's what you do. Like, he probably would have eventually destroyed the shuttle, but the way it works is when there's time, because it's point based. So like each pilot and ship has a certain amount of points. You do upgrade cards and you add points with the upgrade cards.
Okay.
And so you can have like 5 low level ships. You can have 2 really beefed up, like crazy good ships.
Yeah.
And the strategy was, you have these 2 smaller ships, which we said the escorts.
Right.
And so that way, at the time, when time hit, the Kylo Ren shuttle was like 38 points. So as long as I took out enough of his stuff to where my points were higher than his, I would have won.
Oh, okay.
And so, but we don't play like that. We just kind of play for fun here. But in a tournament base, it's kind of what you want to do. So you got to strategize for stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. It's easy to learn, but it's really hard to master. So
yeah, absolutely.
So it's a lot of fun. Anything else?
Can't play Final Fantasy 14 because the internet's been bad lately.
Yeah.
But I haven't known to play Starcraft 2, and that's been a lot of fun. I played with Eric finally. There's a commander mode on there. You get to choose what commander you want to use, and they all have special perks. Mm-hmm. So my new favorite one is the Haka, where
Isn't he the new one?
Yeah, he's the new one.
Yeah.
So if you build a whole bunch of like Zerglings or something like that, you can make them fight each other, and then whoever wins evolves into another creature, and it's just a constant match of just making them kill each other and just building up this crazy powerful force.
Wow.
Zergs are OP.
And then he scales every like couple of levels, so like eventually it looks like Godzilla out there. And there's one guy I brought a medic over to him because he's technically an organic thing, so a medic can heal him. So it's just this one little medic like zapping him to heal, right? It's like you're healing.
Godzilla.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I love watching Twitch streams of Starcraft. That's probably my favorite thing that I watch, and still don't know how to play.
I get that a lot with my Twitch streams too.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where it's it seems simple. Then you go and try and play the game yourself, and you're like, I'm completely lost. I just got destroyed by probably a 10-year-old in like 4 minutes.
Or Korean.
Yeah, definitely.
It's mainly the Koreans.
Yeah. So what about you, Trex? What you been up to?
I just got done streaming for 20 hours yesterday.
You're also editing a lot, right? You got so much to edit, right?
I have... The editing from Soda City is taking forever because the audio and video are not syncing correctly, but that's also because it's not because of Premiere itself, it's also because of how the setup was.
Oh, yeah.
So that it worked on streaming, but when it comes to the video itself, it was kind of misaligned. There was like a little beat. Like when, I don't know how this happened. So in audio, there's 2 channels. You got left and right.
Right.
When the microphone, in recording the stereo, you get both channels. Somehow when the guys were talking on the microphone, one channel would just disappear. And so you hear the stereo, and all of a sudden it quickly goes to mono.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, and I'm looking at their hands trying to see if it was the cabling or the microphone. I don't know what happened, but that's an easy fix because I can just copy the right channel and put it in the left. So what we've always done before is we just would record the sound from like the speakers of the room.
Yeah.
Well, this year we got a little more access and we were actually able to jack into the equipment in the panel room. Yeah. So we could record directly from the mics on stage.
So it sounded better for the stream.
Right.
And it did. It worked really well. It's just now the footage from that stream, it's just a lot of post. It's a lot of post.
We'll see how my monologue about talking about nothing pretty much 20 minutes.
Yeah,
It seems so prepared.
Yeah. So you want to jump? Is there anything nerdy you've done in the past week or so?
I think the closest thing I can come to is I love like escape rooms and puzzle games and stuff like that. And my friends were in town, my fiance and I, and we went over to the final room over off of Knox Abbott.
Yeah.
We did the cult theme one, and we escaped with like a minute to spare, but it was awesome.
I've always wanted to do an escape room.
Yeah, I did the final room in Philadelphia, which is where I'm from. I did 2 of the rooms up there, and the one down here is very intricate. I mean, very intricate. So you have to like really pay attention. And there was actually like some skill involved where I don't want to give anything away, but like where you had to do something and do it correctly based on your own skill and ability to do it. Otherwise, you weren't getting to the next phase of it, which was pretty cool. It wasn't all your mind; it was actually something you had to do. So it was fun. That was probably the nerdiest. Well, the Comic-Con, but outside of that,
Yeah.
How many people can do it?
So that room is 8 people, and we had 5. So, but we escaped. And it was pretty cool.
We were thought about doing some team building and all of us going.
Yeah.
As a
We'd
podcast.
be good.
Some
place to
team
go.
building.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Be a
Now,
good place
The
to
team
go.
building consists of Baxter yelling at everyone. It's like, I want to get out!
That's what I was going to ask. Is there like a panic button where if he starts freaking out in the room and needs to leave,
act like I freak out over everything.
Heather?
I just want it recorded.
Well,
It's
by
8
fire
people.
code, they have escaped.
We do
Okay,
have those
it's not
GoPros, so...
locked.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
bring Elena in with us too.
Oh, yeah, kill us.
Yeah.
Let us stay away from all the boxes.
Yeah.
I remember there was this place in New York, I think it was in New York, my mom was telling me about it, where it was a bar, and it was kind of escape room-esque, it was kind of like a 007 themed, where you walk into this one room, and in order to get into the bar, you had to find the puzzle.
Was it the Jekyll and Hyde bar?
I think so.
Because I went there when I was a kid,
Nice.
and like you go in, and you're all stuck in like this room, and then like a bookcase like kind
Yes,
of open.
the bookcase.
Yeah. And
Wow,
you went
that's
in.
cool.
Yeah, it was the I don't even know if it's there anymore. It was the Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde themed bar.
So it's like the only way you can drive home is if you're clearly sober enough to
Figure it out.
That's a good idea.
Here's your test.
And you
Write-
get a
write
video
it down.
when the cop pulls you over.
Yeah.
Like a
What is it? I don't know about you, but I escaped Jekyll and Hyde rooms.
Oh, sir, you are good to go.
Yeah. Sure.
Excuse me.
Please proceed. So yeah, that's actually funny. I haven't even thought about that in a long time. That's awesome. But yeah, the nerdiest thing would probably be the Comic-Con and then of course the final room.
All right, that's a good segue. So we'll get to our topic of the day. Starter City Comic Con 2017.
Review.
Yeah, 2015 got flooded out, unfortunately. I don't know if you know this now, but the 2015, the first year they did it was when everything flooded.
Yeah, I was knee deep in water. I remember it.
Yeah.
very well.
And it hurt my soul a lot because one, I actually got sick that weekend,
Yeah.
so I couldn't go, and the flood happening really sucked. 2, it was the stars were aligned for City City because one, it happened right at the beginning of Gamecock season.
Yeah.
They chose the perfect weekend that it was an away game.
Yeah.
It was like, and I looked at it like they made it perfect. This is exactly what it's gonna work. Here comes the flood. Gosh darn it, Mother
Yeah.
Nature.
We recorded a podcast at the con because we just had a table there, so we just sat at the table and sat there for about 45 minutes and recorded something. I had to edit the video because in the video I'm like, What are they talking about? The weather's great. What are they saying? Like, it's fine out here. Flood my ass. And then the next day, Columbia's underwater.
That's exactly how it happened. It was like, you look outside, it's just a little rain. The next day, everything's underwater and Noah's Ark's coming down Main Street.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
So that sucked. And they got like such a... I think they got a bad rap that year because they opened on Sunday. But it was because like the vendors were all staying. There's a lot of people staying in hotels around there that weren't flooded. So they're like, let's just open and see what happens. And so, I think they should open. If people are there to open, and people were complaining because they couldn't come get their stuff. And it's like, well, the roads are flooded, man. Yeah. So that was bad. So and then we went to 2016. I'll be like,
yay, mass destruction in the city.
Yeah. And so 2016 was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so then we had this year, and this year we pretty much spent our time recording everything. We recorded the panels. They asked us if we could do that, so we did. That's why you saw a little. Oh, we liked it too. You saw a little command center that we had set up. In the main
it was a
panel
good
room.
setup you guys had going.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
It was awesome.
It was nice. So did you get a chance to look around at all?
So we, myself and two of my coworkers, we were the judges for the children's costume contest.
Yep.
And we walked around for probably about 40-ish minutes beforehand, saw some stuff, took some pictures and everything, and it was an awesome turnout. I mean, I was really not, I don't want to say shocked like I thought it was going to be bad, but it was pleasantly surprising how nice the con was for Columbia. I mean, Columbia of all places, you don't think of Columbia as a premier Comic-Con destination, but it was great, and I think, on a smaller scale, it was comparable to some of the bigger ones from what I've heard in the past. But it was my first con, and I had a lot of fun, and the judging for the contest, it was cool to see all those kids. I mean, they had like 200-something contestants. It was crazy. It was a hard contest to judge for sure.
Yeah, we did it the year before, and it was nuts then too. I think it was the first time they'd done a children's cosplay contest.
Yeah, I remember it happened the first time.
Again, because...
because it got flooded out, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We didn't make it that far the other year.
Yeah.
But no, that was a good time, and I did some walking around. I like because we were working the con.
You guys were probably slammed.
Yeah, we got access to like the back tunnel.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. This
is the first year we got the back tunnel, right?
Yeah, that's because we were hooked up.
I got used to it from Nashi, so I'm like, I'm using this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the way I saw it was like, look, I can do this as long as I look like I'm supposed to be here. As long as I'm walking like I'm allowed to be here and stuff.
You walk fast and don't look at anybody directly.
Right, and like I'll be good. So no, but they didn't mind us using it, and it's because we had to keep coming in and out of the room, and our table was set up right by the door, and so we wouldn't interrupt panels like walking across the room.
Right.
We just came into the back door.
Right.
But we were able to get in and out of the room fast. But so I went into the dealer room a lot, back and forth. I was trying to like experience the con and do the work at the same time because we moderated a couple panels. We moderated the Walking Dead panel. We moderated the Horse Creek Aurelius Nova panel because we're working with them. We're going to be the crew. They're taking our friend Aurelius Nova. She's an author. She loves books.
She's an international author.
International author, and she has a book that's a compilation of short stories. And they're making one of her short stories into a short film.
Wow.
And so she asked us if we could be the crew, like work the mics and stuff.
That's awesome.
She needed labor.
Yeah, essentially.
Basically.
And we know the basics of that with the mics and stuff, so we would help out.
Just hold it up like this.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, we had a so they gave us do you want me to go into specifics? I don't know what was
As a production person, please.
So we had to talk about live PD. Of course, that was the big in the area that we're in. We had to talk about that, and a lot of people were asking us questions about it. And man, like people ask us questions regarding like the production equipment, and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. What kind of cameras are they using? I don't know.
Big ones.
I have no idea. Yeah. So it's actually kind of surprising. So the cameras that they do bring out, and my buddy Matt, who's actually he's one of the people that films for us. He could probably tell us more about this, but Cameras are surprisingly small. The setup that they have for the live nights, so they have one car they have 4 boxes on top of the car, and they look like takeout boxes, like Chinese takeout boxes or something. And there's 4 of them, and that's their satellite, so they have a mobile satellite. Wow. And at the beginning of it, they didn't even have a sound guy, so they didn't have a boom mic or anything out there. They just had the camera and what it was picking up, and I think they've slowly integrated a sound guy into it, but the production's a relatively small production compared to some major shows, and the payoff's been huge for the community, and the community loves it, and they love talking about it, and they always ask us about it, so we've kind of gotten used to talking about it. So it's cool to kind of have that platform at the Comic-Con to talk about what we see from our end about Live PD, what we like about it, what it brings to the community, and it was cool that they gave us that opportunity, however impromptu it might have been, to talk about it. And it was I had a little bit of a ramble there, but my one coworker probably talked a good bit for all of us regarding it. Who's the bigger star, mind you, in the series? So.
You're our biggest star.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
How often have you? I guess we'll jump to some live PD talk.
Sure.
Right, how often have you been on there?
So I have had. There was 2 specific segments where I was the lead officer for something that they came and filmed that was on a pre-recorded.
Right. Yeah.
So they pre-record during the weeks prior to it. So if there's lulls in the action during the live night, they'll play that. And so I had 2 of those, and then I've been on scene pretty much for, I would say, a quarter of the episodes that are on there. And so how we run things is no different than how we would run things if the cameras aren't there. But when we go out for our live nights, so there's 2 main people, and then they kind of have a supporting cast that is not currently working, so they don't have to get dispatched to something.
Right.
So we'll be there to help out, like if they get into something and they need help filling out paperwork to turn over whatever it is that's going on quicker so that they can get back on the road. We'll assist with that kind of stuff, and I'm often in the background kind of shying away from the camera just because, I like to assist where I can, and I think some people within the TV show might have a bigger personality meant for TV than I. But it's pretty much, how we do things on the show is how we would do things regardless of if the cameras are there or not. And that's something that a lot of people kind of wonder is, live PD, is it actually live? Yeah, it's live. It's there. It is, it's set on a time delay, and I've been told 20 minutes, and I've kind of figured out that it's closer to around 15 if I really had to give it a good guess. But it's as live as it gets. They don't tell us to go anywhere specifically. They don't tell us to do anything, look for anything, nothing like that. It's do your job. There happens to be a camera in the car, which is the coolest part about the whole thing. It's not something that we're planning. Everything that happens within regard to the TV show is what our shift is for that night.
Right.
And that really, I think, separates it from even say Cops. Cops is one of my favorite shows. I love it. Love watching it. They show 3 things that happen per episode, typically.
Right.
Live PD, you have basically 100 of those episodes within the same episode, and each TV show has their own merits. They're both great. Live PD is just different, and I think that's why people are watching, which is awesome. It's awesome for community relations, and it's great for transparency, which is absolutely what we're going for.
Now, I don't actually have cable, but every Friday night, I literally see my Facebook blow
Lit
up. I have
up,
my friends
dude.
in Anderson
just
blowing up about, like, Mike, what's going on wrestling? I don't know. I'm in Irmo.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. There are fans everywhere. Everywhere regarding this show, and they just love it because, there's been a negative stigma towards the profession, especially within the recent years, and this kind of shows everything from start to finish of a call of what actually happened, because you can take a snippet of pretty much anything that has happened on the show and say, well, this person is bad because look at this cop and what he's doing. Look how terrible he is. Then you play the whole 5 minutes of it and you realize he's doing exactly what he's asked to do from this person says he's trespassing on the property. He's just writing a trespass notice. You know, so it shows the full scale of what's going on. It doesn't really leave any stone unturned. It puts it all out there, and I think that's what really makes it great. And why people like it and why people want to continue to watch it. The department that I work for in particular, I've been told that we're on for another 100 episodes, which is great.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, which is great. So it's been really a good tool. I think at the end of the day, it's just another tool that we have. Much like, you know, if we're driving a cool vehicle, which I happen to be driving a cool vehicle, which, you know, it's a good thing for all of us.
All right, so you got 100 episodes to get through training.
and get on join the cat team, which takes 3 years at least of service to get on there. So I can squeeze 3 years. Hyperbolic time chamber. That's
so there it is. There it is. We'll make sure that we hold that spot for 3 whole years.
Thanks.
He can sit in the other car and just do paperwork. He can do it.
Yeah.
I'm really good at paperwork.
Trust me, I've gotten very good. Very good. My pen hand is strong.
So you mentioned there being fans all over the world, and so that's a certain type of community you deal with, like the live PD fans. How was it? Was it any different dealing with the comic convention fans? Because you said it was the first one you'd been to. It must be a new base for you.
Yeah, so it definitely is a new base, and something I kind of learned by going to this Comic-Con is it's not Comic-Con. The fan base is not strictly, you know, DC and Marvel comic books.
Yeah,
it's everything across entertainment possible. You know, and like you don't realize that, you know, the same people who like anime and, you know, Star Wars and even Superman, they're all going to the same place. You know, you don't realize that until you get there. And so going there and seeing that, you realize that those are the same people that also like Live PD.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was kind of a good mix of people there that liked the show enough to want to talk about it, and also apparently they liked the show enough to want us to judge a comic, you know, costume contest, which that in itself was just, you know, a wild experience, which some of those costumes were mind-blowing. I think the winner, personally, I think he deserved to win for sure. I don't know if are we going to spoil it before the stream's up?
The video should be definitely.
Yeah, we live streamed it. So go ahead.
Okay, so that Vault Boy costume that actually won, he was awesome. And then, of course, you know, there was an affray at the end. You know, a little bit of controversy surrounding it, but it overall was just an awesome showing, and it was great to see that many kids, you know, want to do that kind of stuff, and it's a good, productive thing to be into. You know, you get a kid into stuff like that, and at least they're doing something productive and cool, and not doing something that's, you know, gonna detriment them in the end.
So I talked about this last year, but what really got me last year was afterwards. And for when we did it, there was a clear first, second, and third. Right there's people amped their stuff up, and the decision wasn't very hard for us. But there was a couple of girls that came up to us afterwards and were like, "Hey, we just want to know what we can do better." And I was like, "Oh man!"
I think it was the Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
I specifically remember that.
And I was like, "Oh man!"
At this point, it's kind of like watching Harley Quinn and Joker and Deadpool, 3 of the most commonly cosplayed characters at any convention.
Yeah.
But I went to Denver Comic Con. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like,
which especially last year. I mean, that's not shocking, you know.
Yeah. So we're like, it's not 100% unique. So when you get these unique costumes out
exactly, yeah, and that's exactly what my thought on it was. There was a lot of Walking Dead fans, which that's cool. Nothing wrong with Walking Dead. But it, some people just put on a hat and said they were whatever person that they were. But then I give more credit to somebody who takes the time, builds, from scratch a Vault Boy costume.
Right.
I'd give that more validity than somebody who puts on a hat and says they're whoever from Walking Dead. So I think that plays into it a lot. Definitely plays into it a lot.
Yeah, last year when that Harley Quinn came up and asked us exactly what she could do better, first off, we know a little about cosplay, not enough, not a lot really.
Right.
But we recognize a good costume when we see one.
Right.
And we honestly gave our best feedbacks, like uniqueness.
Yeah.
Well, creativity is one of the scoring columns, so
It is.
it was, if you're dressing like, Harry Potter and you just throw a brown robe on, there's not much there.
Yeah, it was her being Harley Quinn. I think it was she from the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn or just another Harley Quinn?
She was a regular Harley.
Yeah.
Just a regular.
Oh.
So
No, she was Bombshell.
She was Bombshell. That's right.
The dress.
That's right.
Yeah.
So being Bombshell Harley Quinn, that definitely showed a little uniqueness and creativity.
Right.
There was Dragon Con is going on this current weekend, and I just saw a picture of this Harley Quinn and Joker robot-esque, and it looked fantastic. Bringing an old character into a different design, I think I saw once a Renaissance Harley. It looked fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're going to be a Joker or Harley Quinn, go with a different era, bring a different twist to it, and you're going to have a better response from cosplay judges.
It's actually funny that you have the Boba Fett thing there, and I remember seeing a picture of somebody that cosplayed as a Renaissance-style Boba Fett before. And that kind of stuff, I instantly would get more votes, in my opinion, than somebody that just does something regular.
Yeah, and it's not to say that anyone dressing up as Harley Quinn is just a bad cosplay. They just won't win. I mean, you're not always going to win your first cosplay contest.
Right.
And you're going to grow with each and every one. We follow a lot. And these are young women who, like Shelby and Serendipity, they're both cosplayers I met years ago, and they were My Little Pony fans. And becoming from My Little Pony, they have grown into these fantastic cosplayers. And they just look fantastic now.
They do birthday parties and different types of events now. Right?
Yeah.
They do.
They get
really
hired
do.
to do that kind of stuff. That's how good they are.
Yeah, and seeing them grow from when I saw them about 4 years ago in these My Little Pony run in this cosplay contest, My Little Pony asked like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool." And now seeing them now, it's like you girls have grown.
Yeah.
And that's about cosplay. You have to grow into it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Did you get to meet any of those special guests that were there?
Well, it was kind of funny. Like, people were coming up to us and saying, I'm such and such from wherever, and I just I didn't put two and two together till afterwards. There was I forget his darn name. The wrestler guy.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him and I didn't even realize, and then I felt like an idiot afterwards. Because then I ended up looking him up, but met a ton of people. I'm new relatively to all of this. Not to say that I don't love it, but I'm just new to it, so I'm kind of learning as I'm going. And there are people there that I'm sure down the line I'm gonna look back and be like, oh my god, I met that person.
Yeah, that's Trex. He did the panel for Jim Duggan. He ran it, but he didn't have to do much talking. Because,
I did not
because he's obviously used to being in front of a crowd, so he just kind of took it and ran with it.
Right.
But you got to sit up there with him though.
I did, and I became a meme.
He
did. He did. Someone memed him. Our buddy was watching our live stream, and he screenshot the picture and was like, "I want someone to look at me the way Trex looks at Jim Duggan." And so
that's awesome.
That's fun. But he was a great guy. We talked to him and waiting for him to come into the panel room.
Yeah.
He took pictures and stuff, and we talked for a little while. So he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's just a lot of fun. And then we didn't know he lived out here. He lives out here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives out
There's
really well.
surprisingly a lot of people that live in this state that are famous.
Yeah.
You don't even realize it till you get into, something like Comic-Con or something like, go to a football game and you see these people and they're like, yeah, he lives right down the road. And you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's always like a little con with a huge name, and you're like, how did they do this? Like, well, I live right down the street, so I just decided to roll up. Because
spending cash.
yeah, that's what happens. There's the guy that took over for who took over after Stan Lee for Marvel?
Roy Thomas.
Roy Thomas, yeah, took over after Stan Lee left, and he lives around here.
Oh, wow.
So he's at all these local cons, man. He's at SC Comic Con. He was at Soda City.
Wow.
Leave him alone.
Didn't Stan Lee's wife just recently die? I think she
Yes,
died.
Joan, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
God, I hope you know.
I
what
know,
they
that'd be
say.
sad day.
Yeah,
I hope not.
he's at Dragon Con. He was at Dragon Con. He was at the parade yesterday.
Yeah, I was able to get a picture with him at Heroes Con a couple of years ago.
Wow.
They were like, "Don't touch him."
Yeah,
Don't
oh,
say
yeah.
anything. It was like, for all he knew, he could have been a wax statue.
Yeah, like it was literally like an assembly line where he's standing, he's sitting there smiling at the camera. You walk in, and you can put your arm around him or something, and you just stand in the back. They snap the photo and shove you on right out.
Wow, it's
And
like a Christmas story.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. And but it was for that 3 seconds I was
Yeah.
in Stan Lee's presence. It was
That's
great.
awesome.
You
And
guys
they
have
also you can also get stuff signed, but it's way more expensive to get stuff signed than it is to take a picture with them.
Wow.
Because it'll instantly shoot the value of your stuff like through the roof.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
You met the voice actor from Rogue One versus Darth Vader, didn't you?
Yes, not the voice actor.
The actual actor.
The guy, yeah, the dude, the voice actor is James Earl Jones.
That's right. That's right.
I did not meet him, but I met the guy who played Vader in Rogue One at SC Comic Con
Last year.
Is he as tall as I imagine?
Oh,
he
dude,
is?
he's-
Oh my God, he's so big.
Really?
He's huge. And actually, the Black Series figures we were talking about earlier, I have a Darth Vader one. I took that and I got him to sign it for me.
That's awesome.
So I got a picture and a signature.
We literally walked up because it was the same time we went to go. We also got a picture and a voiceover from the voice of Ash Ketchum.
Yeah, from Pokemon. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, she was there,
She was
and
there.
she was a great. She was
She's
so
awesome.
fun.
She's so
That's
fun.
awesome.
And we're walking up into this guest area, and we see him, and he's sitting down. And he's like, he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, the guy with the alien with the headphones who took him from Quinn.
Oh,
Same
wow.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he was sitting down, and all of a sudden he stood up to take a photo. We're like, holy crap!
Yeah, he just tired. I told this story when we reviewed that panel, or that con. But there was a guy right in front of me, and it was so aggravating because he had like 2 boxes full of Darth Vader merchandise to get signed, and it's like he was obviously not like I got my Darth Vader figure get signed and cherished for the rest of my life. He's obviously getting these things signed to go sell on eBay.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
That's
wow. And it just
That's
took
really
forever. And I was like, man.
He turned. I'm in the back waiting. And I just look at him. He just glanced me.
Yeah, I was so frustrated. I was like, I'm trying to actually meet someone and get some signed for me, not to just like
Not
go
for eBay.
sell. Like, and he was obviously selling it for the internet because he would take it and then he would take a picture of him signing everything.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like,
That's my stomach, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I
That was
shit
that
my
was-
pants.
nice. Live PD.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
There we go.
So that was really cool. And back in Soda City, we met a couple of the saviors from The Walking Dead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they haven't had speaking roles yet, but we're hoping for them.
Yeah.
There are a couple extras in the back. We actually had dinner with one of them afterwards.
Really?
He was really cool.
He was really cool.
That's awesome.
I don't even watch The Walking Dead, but because I met him and I want to support his work, I'll come back and start watching now.
Well, what's
Walking Dead has such a following. Man.
yeah? What was his last name?
Bell.
Yeah, Will Bell. Yeah,
William F. Bell.
he was a really fun guy, and he was telling us all kinds of stories that we couldn't tell here. But he was telling us all kinds of stories from the set and stuff.
That's
It was
awesome.
nuts.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who have I can't really think of anybody famous within that role that I met, but I told myself, so if I ever do like a cosplay or something, I'm really into Mad Men. I'm definitely going as Don Draper.
Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Comic-Con.
Nice.
That would be my costume if I had to go.
I'm pretty sure Jon Hamm, being Jon Hamm, he would cosplay as Don Draper.
Dude.
He's like, Jon Hamm, like, I'm Don Draper.
Dude, Jon Hamm, I heard he was great in Baby Driver.
He is.
I've yet to see it.
I've seen
I heard
his
he's really good in
stuff, and he was good. Jon Hamm is one of my top 10 favorite actors.
He's awesome.
He's such a good comedian. He's so funny.
Yeah, he really is. You ever watch Mad Men?
We haven't seen Man. I know. I remember when he showed up in Kimmy Schmidt as the the priest. I was like, that's. Have you watched Kimmy Schmidt?
No.
It's a Netflix show. What's the actress's name?
The actress?
Yeah.
No clue.
Kimmy Schmidt. You ever watched The Office back in the day?
Yeah.
You remember when Pam
Lady from The Office went to my high school.
Which
really?
one?
So you know Meredith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she went to my high school. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She actually, my freshman year of high school, not to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Freshman year of high school, she came and gave the career day speech. And so we're in a Catholic school, right? It was a Catholic school in Philadelphia. And she's up there giving like the funniest friggin' speech I've ever heard. Like, oh yeah, I got all my training for the alcohol scenes, while I was in high school, and all the nuns are like mortified. The lady is like up there corrupting all her kids, and she was awesome. She's really cool. She was definitely a cool person. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But when Pam stopped being the assistant, and then they brought in the other girl.
Yeah.
That she stars in this in the show. And I can't remember her name for anything.
I can't remember.
But it's a really funny show. It's a Netflix original series.
Oh wow!
And it's about a girl that gets talked into at 16 to go underground and join this cult in a doomsday bunker. And it's like her and 3 other women, and the what do you call himself? The
mole girl.
The pastor, or what do you? It was a.
Oh, he's a reverend.
Reverend. Yeah.
They were all married too.
Yeah, so they all got married down there, and so they were in the bunker for like 20 years or so, or 15 years,
something like that.
Yeah, and so she comes out, this grown woman, but she went down there when she was 16. She gets arrested from the bunker, and the whole show is about like this grown woman with like a 16-year-old mentality living in New York City with a black gay man who's trying to make it on Broadway. And they have an old white landlord, and she's like crazy, and it's hysterical.
That sounds pretty fun. It's like a funny Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Which the new trailer came out.
Yes.
I have yet to watch it. I'm definitely watching it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Can't wait for that show.
And
that was another one that's just
the ending to the first season. I was like that's pretty awesome. I don't think any other show could have pulled off that weird stuff like they did.
Oh no.
Quite like they did.
I was excited because it had Dungeons and Dragons in it.
Oh, damn.
Such a nerd god.
Yeah, no. We've been playing a Star Wars version of Dungeons and Dragons called Edge of the Empire.
Yeah.
So we've all got like characters and stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
You can check it out.
Have you ever played any Dungeons and Dragons S-type stuff?
That's a heavy book.
What was it called? I want to say Warmech or
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
Pathfinder.
No, Warhammer.
BattleTech had an RPG version.
So I used to collect baseball cards, and the card shop that we went to in the back part of it, they had the full landscape set up and everything.
Warhammer.
And
they show me what people play on that.
I had a little bit of a collection. I painted some of the collection that I had, and then I just never really fell into it. It was so time consuming.
Oh yeah.
It was
very.
It was too much. I was like, I can't do it.
Fantasy Flight. They make a lot of they make Age of the Empire in the X-Wing game. They recently announced a game called Star Wars Allegiant, which is going to be a lot like Warhammer, but in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It comes with the minifigs you got to paint and stuff.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, can't wait to paint those stormtroopers, can you?
I mean, it's going to be little black streaks here and there.
Really hoping they up my VA check so that I can participate in that game.
It's going to be fun. Who else was that? So we had Roy Thomas was there. We had
our good friend Chad Bowers.
Chad Bowers. Chad Bowers we knew him before he was just a local writer.
Yeah.
Now he's like writing all kinds of stuff for Marvel and.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah. That's what he was toting around when we met him. Now he's like got his X-Men '92 books that he's been a part of. Yeah, man. He's a real great guy.
Yeah.
He's very so. And he's local. And what's the other book he's doing that I read real quick?
So you guys are hanging out with some
you
famous
were reading
people there.
a little bit. Shoot. Oh come on! It was.
It's the one thing that he would want us to talk
if I
about.
put that back in the right spot, it's gonna flip out later.
Oh man.
I have to look it up.
Whoa.
But he just revitalized the new series, and it was really good. And I talked about this on the panel because I moderated the panel with him.
Yeah.
But one of the things in the book, it's about revitalizing God, what was the name of that book?
I'm looking it up.
Okay, and but
Youngblood.
That's right. He's bringing back Youngblood from back in the day, and
Nice.
and one of the things that it focuses on is famous people with powers, and in it there's an app like Yelp but called Help, and it's like Uber but for if you're getting mugged or something.
Yeah.
And heroes will respond and come save you.
That's awesome.
And it was just such a good concept. I was reading the book. I think it's like 5 or 6 issues in. And I got the first 3 to kind of, because I was doing the panel, I was like, man, I haven't read new stuff. I need to grab it and read it because I'm going to be moderating.
Yeah.
And it was really good stuff.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so.
Well, my mom used to work for Scholastic, and I got pre-releases of Captain Underpants.
Nice, dude.
So, I don't know if that tops it, but
Yeah, you just
that
have
was
a
back
good
in the
life.
day. That was back in the day.
And so there's a lot at those kind of cons. There's a lot of independent people trying to sell really unique things that I like to see. Who and there's people that come from all over the place to sell their books. What was the name of the group that we talked to?
We talked to Charles and Andrea from Caliber Comics.
Yes.
Charles is the writer for Boy Zero, which is a 2-volume set that he came out with. I actually have the book at home. And Andrea wrote The Shepherd with his son, which is... I have the interview for it as well, because we actually had one of the panels in very early, and there was like a 20-30-minute gap. I'm like, one sec. Went and grabbed them, came back, did a quick interview in the panel room, and then we left.
That's awesome.
So I was really happy you got that. And The Shepherd, with Boy Zero, it's more or less it's a horror suspense book where... something's happening to the kids in this town, and the parents are not understanding what's going on. And because of their confusion, the kids are just frustrated, so they went to go solve it themselves.
Yeah.
And apparently, what happens in the book is a mind F. He literally said it's a mind F, and Andrea's behind him's like, "Yeah, man, you're not prepared. Your shoulders are gonna start shivering." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm reading this. I'm getting into our horror expert too."
Yeah, it's good. I like when I go to cons. There's always like.
That sounds awesome.
And
It does.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
There's always an independent person selling their books, so I like to pick up random people with like their trades trying to sell it and stuff, just to check it out. So there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of unique just creations people make of like posters and I don't know. The best word I can think of is knick-knack. Like it's because there's a lot of like people that make things and like they try to sell it that are just very unique and really cool. Like we have our Popsicle bottle.
Popsicle bottles. My friend Sean.
Yeah,
and
they
Laura.
weren't there at that con. We see them a lot at cons, and they sell like the coasters over there that I have.
Yep.
Like they
made this. This is a
Oh,
wallet.
is that like an RFID blocking wallet?
No, that's just a business card case I use as a wallet.
Yeah, you got
And
That's dope.
they cut out comic books and put them onto coasters and everything. And I've had this.
That's awesome.
I've had this for like
You've had that
almost
for a long
6
time,
years,
yeah.
maybe even plus more.
That's awesome.
So
And of course, this technique that they used to make this is they don't use this anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, she still holds up. Thank you.
That's awesome.
so it's stuff like that you see everywhere. I don't think there wasn't any more like crazy big names, were there, that I could think of?
Not really.
That computer store was there.
We love that computer store.
Steven does a great
Yeah,
job with that store.
computer store is a place out in West Columbia.
Lake Maury Boulevard.
There you go.
That's West Columbia, isn't it?
No,
that's
that's
Lexington.
Irmo.
Irmo. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for
It all
correcting
runs
me.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's off
part of South Carolina.
Yeah. It's in the state.
Yes.
Eventually you'll get there.
It's off of Lake Murray Boulevard if you're local. It's called That Computer. They do PC repairs, but it's also a huge gaming store. They do a lot of Warhammer. They also do the thing where you can. They have a bunch of PCs set up and you can rent time to play games.
That's
and
not
stuff.
that used game store, is it? You know what I'm talking?
You're probably talking about gamers.
one- Yeah. Is it the one right near Harbison? You know what I'm talking about? There's a
Yes.
used game
That
store.
was right by
there.
Books a Million, right?
Yeah.
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 That closed down.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, no worries. Yeah. But yeah, Books a Million's not there anymore. It's Second and Charles. I mean, it's still owned by Books a Million, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
like a used. They sell a lot of used stuff.
Oh, okay.
But no, and that's where we bought some X-Wing stuff. Cause that's where we played X-Wing because they had a whole room that they had where they had a bunch of games you could play. You could paint. They had a thing set up where you can paint Warhammer stuff. They had a PSVR you could play. They had other consoles set up, and they had a place where you could play X-Wing. So we sat down and we played. We fit in it. Well, we had to end quickly because I had to go moderate a panel, and I was getting hit up by Trex.
Sorry to that kid who
yeah.
wanted to play with us.
Yeah, there's a kid that came over. We were playing. He's like, I got next, and we're like, bud, we're gonna have to bounce after this.
This bud, no.
Yeah. So, what time you get out of here?
Well, I'm still good.
You're still good. Okay,
yeah,
just making sure.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I could talk forever.
All right. No, it's no worries. Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
you're still
no,
good.
absolutely. I'm Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for the trailer for Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to watching that tonight for sure. That's definitely the next show that I think I'm really gonna be. American Horror Story also starts soon.
Yeah, you a big fan of that?
My fiance is, and she drew me into it. I hated it at first. I refused to watch it. I watched the last 2 seasons, and now I'm just like, I gotta watch it.
Okay. Maybe I should pick it up.
I read the reviews of this one so far.
It's gonna be a cult theme.
Yeah, and
it goes right along with the final room that I was just in. That was tough. We might have broken something in the room by accident.
They'll find it later.
Yeah, they'll find it later. But that was a really that's the other theme that they have in there. There's like the cult theme, and then there's a murder mystery one. So it worked out pretty good. But I don't even know how I got to that topic.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
no, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Where we just go off in different places.
So Soda City actually had a couple of events. They had an escape room and this archery room.
Yeah.
They had the archery room. The
sounds
room?
dangerous.
Yeah, they had.
Well, it was something else. I think it was.
Here, kid. Here's an arrow.
Yeah. You don't know how to shoot it.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I think it's like we didn't get a chance to go check it out, but further down from the panel room, from where we did the contest, there were other rooms that had the stuff set up in it. We didn't get a chance to
I
go
like
look
the
at
whole layout of the entire con. I think it was laid out well. I think the convention center was just big enough for it. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know. Y'all have been to.
Well, one of the biggest issues, and I'll go ahead and talk about it, is that a lot of people didn't.
You agree?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't realize that there was more stuff than just the main exhibition hall. They made a lot of announcements though. Like I can't say they didn't try. Like I heard Brock at least 4 times come on the mic and go, "Hey, there's more stuff down the hall." I think what did it was the tables. There's a bunch of tables set up for people to chill out and relax. I think a lot of people saw that and go, "Oh, this must be the end." But really, around the corner, there's so much more stuff. Yeah. And unless people go to panels, they wouldn't see that stuff. So they put signs up on Sunday and to say that keep going and things like that. But
I didn't know the escape room was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of busy.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed in that panel room. I went from panel room to the exhibit hall maybe a couple of times, but that's where I lived.
You mentioned the setup. So remember the first year they did it, and they had the Jurassic Park or the dinosaur thing there.
Oh yeah.
And all the kids saw all the comic convention stuff happening, and they're like, "I don't want to go see dinosaurs anymore. I want to go see the comic convention."
Yeah.
And I drew a whole bunch of business.
Yeah. So last year when we had it. So last year when Soda City was going on, there was the big exhibit hall was actually there for dinosaur stuff. This big dinosaur exhibit. I don't know what was going on, but it was all there. So we had the exhibit hall was dinosaurs, and then right next to it was the actual entrance to the Comic-Con. People, of course, weren't paying, or the volunteers weren't looking correctly because we actually had people from the dinosaur exhibit walk through the Comic-Con, and without paying, of course. But that got fixed quickly as much as possible.
Yeah.
But we having to share that space. The people from the dinosaur people there came out of the dinosaur exhibit and were like, "Oh, what's this? Let's go this. Let's go." Yeah. So it really worked out for Soda City because it upped the attendance where it was kind of actually a little visible.
That's interesting, and it's interesting that you mentioned the whole flow thing. So I was only there for Sunday, so I guess that's why I saw like the signs and stuff like that. So I realized where to go. But I've been to other exhibitions at that convention center specifically, where it's like, but look closer into what's over here, because there's a whole nother mess of stuff.
Yeah. There
was a fishing tournament like a week prior, and nobody realized there was stuff on the total opposite end because they didn't have anything directing it. So I don't think it was exclusively to the Comic-Con.
Yeah. That's a layout issue for the convention center itself.
It's kind of a weird layout.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And I would go over to the convention center to put some kind of signage right there above where those tables were. It's like more rooms this way, especially for people who have never been to the convention center. Yeah. And I also go to the organizers for anything because I'm at NashiCon, maybe because I worked Nashicon staff for this past year for the first time, and actually had to see the inner workings of the convention. And dear God in heaven, I was just the media guy running between upstairs, downstairs, with running 2 cameras by myself, just going back and forth. It was fun, but I got my 5,000 steps in. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
that works.
Within the first hour.
And your stairs.
Yeah. Like, of course, I'm not gonna wait for the escalator. I have to go down. And even with Nashi, people were not going around that corner. Even upstairs, they weren't going around that corner either to see all these other panels going on. So it goes to the organizers to have some kind of sign that just freestanding is like, hey, more stuff this way.
Yeah.
So
that's simple fix.
It's simple, yeah. And of course, it was fixed on Sunday, but Sunday being a short so, it's kind of like missed opportunity. So hopefully they can get that fixed for next year.
Yeah.
I already know for Nashicon we're fixing that for next year.
Yeah. So I mean, I had a good time. Let's do some. We're over hours, so let's do some final thoughts and finish it up. Trex, your final thoughts on Soda City 2017. Soda City Comic Con 2017. Final thoughts. Go.
Still a bit of a hassle. The reason I had more fun was because, of course, I associate myself with fun people.
Right.
And I mean, Steven was there.
Yeah.
Or head, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll still F myself.
2 of us.
Meeting Bell and seeing Chad and seeing Aurelius, and especially the guys at Caliber Comics, Charles
The
and
Universal Nerd people were there too.
Oh yeah, I
well,
forgot.
At least cut it out cosplay.
Cut it out cosplay. Cut it out.
I can never ever. It's like the name's right there, but I always mispronounce it because it freaks me out.
I may have had to Facebook it, but it's definitely cut it out.
Let's cut it out. Yeah.
I don't wasn't sure if you want to say like I met her, and then I wanted to do the company name.
It's Zio.
Yeah.
Zio. It's XIO, and it's like I just want to keep saying Zio.
Yeah.
Like you're killing me.
Go Zio.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do. Just put that on our Facebook page now.
Rangers at the
But you really want to associate myself with a lot of fun people, and of course I stayed busy the entire time, so I didn't really get to see anything of the con. Yeah, and I even looked at the program, and the program was only me looking at the panel listing to get times and get the images onto the screen for the live stream.
Yeah.
So, and me working a con is not. I go to cons to work. I actually don't really go to have fun unless I'm going to Heroes Con.
Right.
Even then, I'm there to work. I'm there to get. All right, who we're gonna interview? Let's come on.
Yeah.
I want videos.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic. I'm sorry.
He is. He annoys us with it too.
I do.
We eventually had to go. All right, so let's make a schedule. This is when we'll do interviews, and this is when we'll go do fun stuff.
Yeah.
Because these two clash a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "Do an interview, come on."
Well, if he wasn't my face, we wouldn't have this issue.
He's the pretty one of the group.
But really, with it being its second/third year, there's still a lot of room for improvement. One of my biggest gripes was only getting a wristband that says 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, I can't get.
Like for vendors, vendors got the same thing. It's like I want a badge.
Yeah, I don't want to hate, but I would like a badge.
Probably because you're special.
What'd you say? Did you say
They
you got
gave
a badge?
me a badge, yeah.
Well, I took Aurelius's, so she had an extra one.
They gave us the goodie bags at the end for being there, and it had some cool little stuff in it. It had a comic book in it. It had a badge. It had some Japanese candy or something. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sounds like Pocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I collect com badges, but if you behind you on the door handle, I have a whole bunch.
I probably have an extra one, so I can probably get it to you.
Oh, all right. If you got an extra one. To be honest with you, that's probably my biggest gripe too. Is I didn't get a badge. I enjoy myself a lot though. I had a lot of fun. I like talking to people, especially local people. I had a lot of fun talking to Steven for that computer store. It's nice to see Aurelius because she's a good friend of ours. She lives in Charleston. So she comes up for cons around here. So it's great to.
That's awesome.
She brought her husband.
A lot
It's
of
the first
people
time
out of town came to it too.
So it was the highlight for me was having dinner with one of the saviors from Walking Dead. That was a great time.
That's awesome.
We'd never done that before.
No.
We literally just extended the invite. He was like, "Why not?"
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, last year our highlight was having dinner with Horse Creek Productions.
Yeah.
And we became good friends with Tommy and them. So
That's really cool.
So it really is one of my biggest things. Being able to meet the guys, and it's
it's a networking event.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is. And so it was just meeting everybody, talking to them, There are a lot of fun stuff. I wish we could have tried the escape room, but you know, I knew about it, but I also knew we didn't have time. There's no way that all of us could have got together at one time and gone in there and just left everything because we were working too much. So
yeah, no, I hear you.
And we had a chance.
As soon as I got in there, though, like,
yeah,
we barely got a chance to play X-Wing, and even that we had to cut short. So, but I mean, all in all, it was a great time. Sometimes, you know, I'll just say this here. Sometimes I get a little burnout doing this. Sometimes, but when I go to cons, it relights the fire like crazy. Like meeting the people from Caliber Comics, playing X-Men with him. It just, and talking to Steve, because like Steven now wants us, the guy that runs that computer store, wants us to get together with him and start like a casual league for X-Wing up there. Because the biggest problem you have with X-Wing, right? And it's the same kind of thing you have with Magic. Is just this thing called the meta, and like so people buy the stuff that they know they can win, that wins every like championship, and they bring that and they play, and that's it. Those people win, and it's no fun. So we were talking to him about setting up something a lot casual, because like you can't, like 80% of those ships right up there are not in the meta and they're unflyable at actual tournaments because people will destroy you. Yeah. And it's like, for someone like him, he's like, I just want to fly X-Wings. Like, that's cool. And you can't fly X-Wings right now. X-Wings are unflyable if you want to win. And so he wants to set something up to where people can bring in what they want to play and just have fun. And so we're gonna get with him, I think, and set something like that up. So.
Something like that would even invite like somebody casual who knows nothing about that.
Yeah.
At least
And
get
show them
into
how to
the
play,
hobby.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, just little X-Wing workshops.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, so
that'd be awesome. See, like if you had something like that, I would go to that and learn. Otherwise, you know, I'm not gonna go on my own to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually an X-Wing workshop to learn. That's actually a perfect thing to set up.
You're welcome.
Copyright
You
right
guys-
now. Timestamp.
Actually,
Everyone knows.
See what happens?
It's
See,
a team effort.
we
It's
got
a team effort.
we invited a big star.
No,
There it is.
you're gonna take care of that. I'm giving that
You're
one.
gonna
It's a
be
team effort.
invited.
I'm giving that one to
Right,
Jason.
there it
You named it. Okay. You took the name for what he described, but that one belongs to Jason.
Yeah.
Fine, he's just new. Fine.
Yeah.
It was a brainstorming session. It
That's
was a
right.
collective effort.
So that'll be fun. So yeah. So all in all, I had a great time. It was a great weekend. Okay, so I take that back. My biggest gripe is having to pay and eat con food because it's your only option. It's so expensive and just like
the city said ixnay on the food trucks.
yeah. And so
That's dumb because we have great food trucks right now.
We
so-
do.
Too fat to fly.
dude, that is
God!
like the most.
Oh,
That's like
they're
the
the
best thing
best.
ever made.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right? That the stuffed wings guys. They just put like random
No.
stuff on.
I actually.
What?
I-
You never had too fat to fly wings?
No.
They put like
Man.
mac and cheese
They
in
put
wings.
the mac and cheese in the wings. Dude, it's
Inside-
delicious.
so,
How
like,
do you
so-
do that?
That's
I
a
don't
great
know.
question. No one knows, but you take a bite and there's mac and cheese in it.
So Jesus allowed them to have this power, and
More mac and cheese, my
Yeah.
son.
Ye said it. You want mac and cheese.
Oh yeah. So they put like beans and rice in the wings. Like they
So good.
it's nuts.
It's awesome.
I don't know. Heather, have you ever had a too fat to fly wing? Heather, have you ever had a too fat to fly wing?
I've had one reheated.
What was in the middle of it?
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Steven's never even heard of it. His
Never.
mind is being blown right now. I don't know. So
I know.
Where have you been, bro?
Apparently under a rock.
yeah.
So,
Like, I don't
So-
even go out and like.
No, but I generally enjoyed myself. That was great. So what were your final thoughts?
Besides new shirts from DJ's Deco.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I love the new
forgot about
shirts.
DJs. We love seeing that.
Like he said, me meeting everybody. I mean, are we allowed to talk about the staffing thing, or now that I've already said it?
I mean, honestly, might as well.
Maybe a little
Can't
more
tell.
knowledgeable staff. It
Yeah.
seemed like some of the people, when you asked them where something was, they didn't know.
Yeah, it's weird seeing. I mean, and we're adults.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it out, but it was just like I went to an information panel for information, or booth for information, and I was unable to come back with information.
Yeah, I felt that the volunteer stuff was what we had, especially in the panel room, was the three ladies I saw. They were really helpful with it. I think the volunteer staff, I wonder if there is a head volunteer person to organize everything. Because I know it's the 3 heads of the con, and they run around and do everything.
They knew everything, but
Yeah.
it was just there's other people.
And they weren't as accessible as you would think they should be.
Yeah, and especially at a convention where you are wanting to have kids and young adults and everything, having other young adults work there, getting some college kids would be very helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, they did have a thing where you could apply to volunteer. Maybe no young kids volunteer.
Maybe,
I saw it not even advertised.
I did. I saw it out there. Do you want to come help out at Soda City? Yeah, I saw that.
We'll handle the volunteer next year.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, really, they didn't need anybody in the panel room because we were there handling.
Well, yeah,
it, so.
But like I said, just the information booth would be nice. But other than that, like I really liked they were doing a lot of like local support groups, stuff like that. Like they had the fire department there.
Oh yeah.
That was raising money for them, and I got a really cool mug that I'm excited about. I still drink out of.
Oh yeah, from the Soda City Brewery.
Yeah, and that was such a good idea. They said it was $25. You're like, oh, that's so expensive, but you get free refills the whole day. And then you go out the next day, I think it's like half the price, and you get free sodas the rest of the day as well.
It was funny because on Friday when I was there to set up, they came in and they actually had like beer on the labels. Yeah. I'm like, oh,
you know what it was really for.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah. And then at the end of the day, they changed the soda. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, it was my weekend.
That was cool. They had lots of room for that computer sort of setup, so they actually were able to show some demos for X-Wing. The game room was great. They did it all really well, but like you said, I think it was just too busy to give anybody an opportunity to do the stuff that they really wanted to do, like X-Wing.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go see any of those panels, you had to do it during that panel, and then you didn't have any chance to do it after that. So it was, but other than that, it was great.
Time?
Yeah.
It was really good. It's
they
getting
had
better each year.
that mobile gaming trailer in there too.
Oh,
yeah, I walked by it, and they tried to do like. Some kids were doing some Just Dance, and they were kicking around. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to walk around this.
Yeah.
Almost got kicked in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, I mean, that was... Oh, that was great. Other than the first thing I said was stabbing booth.
You want to come down?
That was good.
His mother is right there.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
He's got this.
Maybe allow pets to come in next time, because Vader loves it.
I don't think that's a con rule. That would be a shame.
Literally.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Sweet. So, do you? I mean, because you didn't get to walk around that much, but you? What are
well,
your
I mean, it's
high
actually
points?
it's
Final
kind of well. The funny thing is, it was my first ever one, and I think if I had been to other Comic Cons, other places, I would have a lot to gripe about. But because it was my first one, I was just like, oh, this is great, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Walking around, that Doctor Who police box that that guy had, that was really cool. That opening room was awesome, but again, I think it comes down to that other people didn't realize where things were. The only reason I really knew where things were, and I thought the flow was great, was because I had someone saying, go this way.
Yeah.
And specifically because I was judging that contest, they were kind of like, pay attention to them and get them where they need to be, and if they want to see something, go show them something, kind of thing. So we had that opportunity. All in all, it was probably about an hour and 10 minutes to myself, and we were pretty much taking pictures with people the whole time. But it was cool. It was a really good experience, and I think they only have to go up from here. I mean,
for sure.
From what you guys are saying, it sounds like each year it's just going to get better and better.
Oh yeah,
and so
for sure.
There's little things here and there, but
there's growing pains.
it's great, and for the space that we have within Columbia, especially because it's a relatively smaller con, I think it was a job well done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the biggest thing, and this is to everybody, is they do want feedback. So they want to hear the good things, they want to hear the bad things. So if you had an issue with something, they just Facebook message them, and they'll listen to you, and they'll take it into consideration for next year. They're not like, Brock is a great guy, he'll listen and he'll do. We know that he'll do whatever he can to help you, and he did whatever he could to help us.
Yep.
So there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, just better planning for next year, and yeah, I mean we actually had the whole downstairs this time. Yeah. We didn't have the exhibit hall last year, and now we did.
Really?
Yeah.
That cuts it in hand.
Yeah. And you say about better planning finish. That's the goal every year is how can we plan better than we did the year before.
Right.
So that they're always and they're working.
Because even next year, I've already planned on having a better live stream. So
yeah.
And honestly,
let's be honest. You needed to do some work. I'm just kidding.
Don't laugh, Heather.
It's fine.
That's fine. All right, we'll call here, and we'd like to thank you, Jason, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, we
it's a
appreciate
pleasure.
you
I
coming.
hope to be able to come back at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can't wait to see you again
absolutely.
on the live PD as well.
It starts back in a month. I think they start filming again.
All right, so see if you can spot Jason in the background doing paperwork.
Before we close out,
What?
give your Twitter and all that
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
so people can
Oh
follow you.
yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I have a lot of stuff for work on there. It's at Zupe Fiasco, ZUPEFIASCO. It's a play on Lupe Fiasco. And then on Instagram, I'm Zoop88. You can look me up on there, and I love doing stuff like this, and I'm sure I'm going to be putting similar type stuff within the confines of FE.
You hear that? He's gonna steal our shit.
I know. No, it's
Or boost our shit.
Take it.
We'll always throw credit this way.
Have it. Take it.
This has been an
It's
awesome
okay. I steal their
experience.
shit too.
No, this has
Yeah,
been
he does.
awesome. I really would love to work with you guys in the future. This has really been a cool experience.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I'll probably want to go just on live PD just to look at the production stuff.
No, just to see what they're
Just to
doing.
go
I
to
mean, we could talk once it's done, but I'd love to introduce you to some people.
Nice, dude. Calm down.
Sorry.
He's exactly how I was when he said he wanted to do the panel. You want to come on the podcast?
Well-
he came into the panel room. He's like, guys, he wants to do the podcast. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Dude, that's awesome. I
Well,
love this kind of stuff. I've been trying to do this kind of stuff forever.
What you just described for him to meet all those people and check out all the equipment is better than Corey is for him. Like,
Yeah.
He's gonna need new pants right
Yeah.
now.
I didn't wear my white pants.
No.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So again, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
It's been a pleasure.
No problem. I guess we'll call it there. I'm Stevie B.
I'm Trex from DJ Cheese Cows.
It's
What?
Showtime. From Nerds of the Apocalypse.
I'm Jason.
From Live PD.
You show up enough times, we'll give you a nickname. Or you do something really awkward, we'll give you a nickname.
That's right. And we're Nerds of the Apocalypse, and we're out.
We do this.
Do a peace sign, Jason.